When I start thinking about all the things I've heard about GDPR, it's enough to make my head explode. People seem to be desperate to make it more complicated every time I think about it. Let's get back to some basics and let's understand where all this is coming from to give you some chance to understand what you need to do as a business to make this work. I want to start by asking you to view GDPR from the customer's point of view, because when you view it from the customer's point of view, I believe it will make a great deal more sense to you than it ever has before. To do that, I'm going to tell you a story. It's not going to be a long story, but once I've told you that story, Christopher is going to take you through some principles that will make this type of thinking work for you in your business. If you're familiar with GDPR, pop over into the chat stream and start telling us whether you feel this is compliant and how much of this is appropriate. If you're not familiar with GDPR, or even if you are, I want you to go into the chat stream and tell me how much of this information you would give and how much of this you think is appropriate and whether this makes you feel comfortable. So if you're ready, I'm going to start by telling you a little story. A couple of weeks ago, I needed to get some nail polish removed. For those of you who know me, this was an extremely unusual thing. I'm not a girly girl, but I'd put some on to go to an event, and unbeknownst to me, it was made of some kind of polymer that no one could remove. Nothing I tried at home worked. In fact, if you're thinking of having your house painted, I highly recommend you use it because your house will never need to be painted again and you won't need any maintenance. Getting back to the story, I did the only thing I could. I booked an appointment at the local beauty salon. And because I'm an online girl, I booked it online. I gave them my name and my address and I paid by credit card using their secure server. Although I'm a virtual girl, it's still necessary to turn up to get your nail polish removed. And so, as a result of all that, I jumped on a bus and I rocked up. When I got to the nail bar, there was a lovely lady there who welcomed me very warmly and sat me down with a form. She started the questionnaire by asking me to give her my name and address. I have no problem with that. They already had my name and address. Didn't understand why they wanted it again, but was quite happy to fill it in. The next thing she asked me to give was my age. I was a bit confused by this. Do they do different nail polish removers by age? Is there an old bird's nail polish remover and a young bird's nail polish remover? Why do you need to know my age? I asked the therapist, and she said, in order to protect you. I thought about that for a minute and I said, you are going to protect me from getting old? What kind of treatments are we going to do? She looked a bit puzzled. I said to her, you don't need to know my age to take my nail polish off. So I left it blank. The next item on the form was a little section for my medical history. Well, I'm not a child. I couldn't fit it in that tiny space anyway. But I asked her, why do you need my entire medical history in order to remove my nail polish? I'd already had the explanation of this is in order to protect you, and I didn't really believe that. So I wasn't totally surprised when she gave me a new and different explanation. And this time she said to me, this is for insurance purposes. This is to protect you. Poor girl still hadn't taken the nail polish off. Well, I said to her, well, that's very interesting, but surely the insurance purposes is to protect you, not to protect me. We weren't really getting very far. The next question on the list was, are you taking any oral medication? Now, I don't want to be funny about this, but I'm not French. If I am taking tablets, I'm taking them orally. So I asked her, what on earth do you mean by oral medication? And she said to me, we want to know if you're taking a contraceptive pill. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have given them my age. That would have got rid of that one. But I said to her, why do you need to know? You're only going to take my nail polish off. And I feel we should know that there are known effects of contraceptives when removing nail polish. If this is the case, I feel we all should be told. So I asked her, who has access to this data? You're asking me for a lot of medical data, so who is going to be holding this questionnaire? Are you keeping it where? In a filing cabinet? Is it locked? And the therapist said, no, we keep it upstairs next to the front door where all the customers come in and out. And we don't lock it because otherwise all the other beauty therapists can't get in and out of it. So I said to her, let me get this straight. You want me to put my entire medical history in an unlocked filing cabinet that's open to the street? Why? And she said, it's a compliance thing. I'm still not happy, you can imagine, so I'm asking her, well, who is the we? Who is it that's going to be holding my data? Are you holding the data? Who are you? And she said, I'm Tina. And I said, I get that, but who is the business? And she said, well, the business is run by Joanne upstairs. And I said, well, does she have access to my medical data as well? And anybody else who works here? Are you trying to get me to put my entire medical history in an unlocked filing cabinet in my local village in order to get my nails done? Are you quite sure about this? There were lots of questions that were basically give my entire sexual history. You know the thing. Have you ever done? Did you ever try? And she looked at me and she said, you need to go to page 2 on the form. And I said to her, what's on that bit? And she said, the first question was, when was the last time you had your eyelashes tinted? Now I'm worried. I said to her, can you not tell the difference between my nails and my eyelashes? And I asked her, why do you want to know that? And she said, in case you come in later and you want your lashes done. The woman looked at me. You could see that she found my objection to giving all this information to be very strange. By the way, the last time I had my eyelashes done was about 2 years ago, and for those of you who get your eyelashes tinted, you know the test is only valid for 2 months, so any information that's more than 2 months old is of no use to anyone. So I said to her, darling, would you let me give you £1,000 worth of free data protection advice? Would you like me to give that to you? If you would, please say yes in the chat room and we'll move on and make sure that you've got it. So I put on the form that she gave me, I'm giving this information for insurance purposes only. And damn it if they didn't email me the next day trying to sell me something else. I'm going to hand you over to my co-director, Christopher Hebb, who's not only qualified as a barrister, but a master of the dark arts of interpreting EU directives in a way you can understand. He'd be the first to confess he knows very little about nail polish and nail bars, but then you do know, don't you, that this story is not really about nail polish at all.